It's time now for Call of the Wild, the official weekly coaches show of the Wenatchee Wild. Stay up to date with your team all season long with Call of the Wild. With head coach and GM Bliss Littler, here's the voice of your Wenatchee Wild, Arch Ecker.
Hello and welcome to Call of the Wild, your weekly Wenatchee Wild coaches show. I'm Arch Ecker and my guest is head coach and general manager Bliss Littler. As we look back over the weekend, Coach, the casual fan's going to look at it and say, boy, you dropped 2 or 3 games, what's going on? But that's just looking at it from the surface. If you look at it more closely, the team did a lot of things right, and there's a lot of positives to pull out of it.
Oh, for sure. That obviously on Thursday, the Surrey had their power play going. We outchanced them pretty good, but when you're playing catch-up hockey like that, it makes it awful difficult. But it's one of those nights that things went well for Surrey. I know we can't wait to get them down here in early December, and we're a better team than what we showed there. But again, the score is more indicative that their chances, they're good chances, and they made the most of them.
You bounced back from that game the following night on the road in Coquitlam, a place where you had won 3-0 just a week prior. And you came out and you got all the effort you could possibly hope for with out shooting that team 47-10.
Well, we played better getting beat than the night we beat them 3-0. It's just one of those things that, again, you don't. It's a team game. It's not one person's fault. It just happened that it's one of those things that the puck had eyes, and it got to the back of the net, and we're playing catch-up hockey, and but for the most part, the puck didn't come out of their end very often. I don't know if the puck was in our end more than 3 minutes total during the game. It was about as one-sided as it could be. We felt very good about how we played, and sometimes in hockey, the goaltender is just the great equalizer, and he was definitely the best player on the ice that night.
The following night, we traveled to Chilliwack, first time of the year playing against the Chiefs. You go into the game leading them by just a point in the standings, so they're looking at it from a standpoint of a regulation victory catapults them into first place. So you got that going on. But in addition to the fact that it's your third game in 3 nights, it's also your 5th game in 8 nights. So it's really, it adds up, and it's kind of an aggregate pile on.
Well, no doubt. I think people that were in the building, they got cheated a little bit. That it ended up being a very entertaining game, I guess, at the end. But I think both coaches would say that they weren't overly happy with the amount of plays their teams made. But I think both teams played very hard. They competed. That they were also running on fumes, just as we were. It's the first time all year that we really had to play tired. And with that being said, I think we're happy with, I guess, our compete level. Our work ethic was good. I just think that you could tell that early in the year that conditioning is still a little bit of a factor. The 5 games in 8 days is a bit much. 3 and 3, you have to do that a few times during the year. But when conditioning gets better, the players will handle that, and we'll be able to make more plays. But it was kind of a sloppy game, if you ask me. But I mean, it turned into the power play was very good for us early on, and then we had to battle to win a hockey game at the end. So overall, I think we're pretty happy with it.
Well, we talked about it, the third game in 3 nights and all of that. But in Chilliwack, basically they had a lot of travel. They'd had to go up to Prince George 2 nights before. So they were playing a lot of games in a short span. So in a sense, the playing field was sort of level there. You talked about the power play and hitting its stride. And the power play early on in the year was incredibly effective. And then on this recent road swing for the first 4 games, the numbers took a little bit of a hit. So to get 3 out of the first 3 to convert had to, be sort of reassuring.
Yeah. Arch, again, power play, you can't, it's like the power play is really, it's like a batter in baseball, that you can't control what the pitcher's going to throw you. You can't control what the team on the ice, how they're going to defend. You can't control the goalie. What you can't control is how hard you're working. trying to make plays. And so we're looking to create chances. And as long as we create enough quality chances, that number, it's the average you're looking for, that's going to be there. That you're going to have some nights that you're going to go 3 for 3, and then you're going to have your stretches where you're going to go 0 for 15. It's just part of hockey. And I take the power play percentage, I add that to the penalty kill percentage, and as long as that equals 100, you're doing a good job. Your special teams are doing a good job, and I try not to get too worked up when the power play doesn't score, as long as they're getting chances. If they're getting chances, you know what? The puck, it's bound to go in pretty quick. But if you're not getting chances, that's where you start to worry, and then you look, are we working hard enough? Because generally you go shorthanded, you're on high alert. Everybody works hard when you're on the penalty kill, and sometimes power play you let up a little bit because you think you have an extra guy out there, and you don't work as hard, and things don't work out for you. But for the most part, we've been pretty happy with our special teams all year.
Coaches talk a lot about chances. What is it that designates a chance? Is a shot on goal automatically a chance, or is it not for the casual fan? How do you designate what a legitimate chance is?
Well, we look at a chance as any time the puck, we can consider the house. If you draw from the face-off dots into the net, any shot that's in there where the guy gets good wood on it, we consider that a chance. Now, it doesn't have to be a grade A chance where if you're all by yourself, yeah, that's a grade A chance. But it's a deflection from there. There are all kinds of things that you'd still be considered a chance. Or any shot from the point that there's a guy in front that's screening, looking for a tip, that would also count as a chance. And we do the same thing. That's whatever we count as a chance for, you flip it around, and that's also a chance against.
You go back to the Friday game in Coquitlam, you find yourself behind a little bit, you make the goaltending change, and then an anomaly that you can be in the game a long time and not see. 28 minutes of gameplay without allowing a single shot on goal. Have you ever seen anything remotely close to that?
No.
And what do you credit that to?
Well, they only had 10, and I think 7 of them came on their power plays earlier. So I think we did a great job at staying out of the penalty box is one thing, and the amount of pressure we put on in their end made them take penalties. So I believe the penalties were 10-1, and so the more penalties you take, the more you lose your legs, and so it really tires you out. So I thought we did a good job, just keeping the puck in their end, keeping the pressure on, and again, we felt pretty good about how we played.
So when you break down that road trip, or at least the last 3 games that weekend, and you take that and move forward into this weekend, what stands out most to you about that 3-game set that you address your team about?
We've moved on. I mean, that's the thing that most people don't realize is that you quickly, you have to learn from a mistake, and then you got to forget about it. And what I mean by that is you got to listen to the message, and then you got to have a short memory. That you need to go back out there and play with confidence. Excuse me, I don't think it's that we lack any confidence, but we got to learn. You learn the lesson, and whether it's not showing somebody enough respect, or just maybe not having yourself prepared. And it doesn't mean that we had 19 guys that were prepared or 15 that were prepared. Sometimes you just don't know. But again, we go back and we look at the chances for, chances against. When we get through with the film, and you look at that, and you chance people 3 or 4-1, and that the scoreboard doesn't work out your way that night. You look at it, and then you move on, and that for the most part, Arch, this is the last time I'll talk about it, that we move on. That you talk about feeding your head with the positive. So why would we go back and talk to our players after we've made the correction with video, showed the very few mistakes, and then you show all the positive stuff, and it's a move on. That One of the worst things you can do is if your power play is struggling, is talk about it. That you can go work on it, but kids don't want to talk about it. All of a sudden, it puts all the doubt in their mind, and it's called feeding the negative. And you don't want to feed the negative. You want to feed the positive. And it's only natural that people want to talk about stuff like that. But as a team, we move on pretty quickly, and our focus right now is entirely on merit. And I don't think we see Surrey for quite a while. So I know that our kids will be excited next time we get a chance to play them here. But for the most part, we need to have short memories and focus on what's next, not what's behind us. Learn our lessons from what's behind us, but focus on what's next.
On the chances when a situation arises that you have to bring in an affiliate player as a backup goaltender, as was the case recently, generally you don't expect to have to put that player in. He's there sort of as an insurance. And Morgan Kelly was the guy put in that situation. He got called in twice, and he did everything you could ask from him.
Absolutely. Again, Morgan, we thank him for coming out, and he did a nice job. But again, guys, this here. It's a team deal. It's not a one person deal. That there's a big difference, Arch, between being a backup goaltender, a guy that's expected to play. Maybe you go from backup where you play that 15 to 20 game range, and then the starter plays 45 to 50 games. There's a big difference between that and playing every other game. And then there's a huge difference between going from playing 15 games where you're playing every third game to playing 4 or 5 games in a row, where it's just a big difference. And where we're at right now with both our goaltenders is one of those guys needs to step up and become the guy. That they're both more than capable. They're our guys. They both played very well for us at times this year, and they both had games that I'm sure they'd like to play better. But it's a development process right now, and our goalies are learning. They're working hard. Our kids love them. So this isn't a one person deal. This is a team deal that we need to do a better job helping our goalies out. When their rebounds there, we got to clear the rebounds. That it's easy to turn and point your finger at the goaltender, but that's not the case. We have other guys on the ice, and we make a mistake, we expect our goalie to bail us out. And bottom line is we just need to do a better job as our goalies one of them learns to be the starter this year, and I have no doubt that both are capable of being that guy.
This is Call of the Wild, your weekly Wenatchee Wild coaches show. I'm Arch Ecker with Bliss Littler. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at this upcoming weekend's homestand. Got the Merritt Centennials coming in on Friday and Penticton on Saturday. That and more as we continue on your Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network. And welcome back to Call of the Wild, your weekly Wenatchee Wild coaches show. I'm Arch Ecker, along with head coach and general manager Bliss Littler. So, Coach, this weekend we kick off a 4-game homestand. We'll start off on Friday night. It's the Merritt Centennials come in. Now, they're sort of an interior division. I don't know if I'd call them a powerhouse, but they're certainly a team that consistently is right there in the mix.
Well, Merritt they're noted for having very good coaching. They overachieve as far as they're good with systems, and they play their tail off every night. They generally, it's one of the tougher places to recruit to in the league, but they do a great job of getting their type of player there, and then they play their type of hockey. So if we're not ready to battle for 60 minutes, we'll be in trouble, because we know that Merritt's going to come in and they're going to battle for 60. It's just their MO.
What's their characteristic? I mean, different teams have different, they're composed differently. Some are speedy, some play a heavy game. How would you characterize the Merritt Centennial game?
They'll dump a decent amount of pucks. They'll play physical. They funnel a lot of pucks to the net, so they get over the blue line. They throw a lot of pucks to the net, and that has a lot to do with they play in a rink that's just a little bigger than my bathtub. It's a very small rink.
Heck of a bathtub you got there, Coach.
Well, it's small. I mean, it's small, and so that's just they're going to be a physical team. They have some good size on defense, but all their kids, they compete. They skate well. I think their MO is just they're an extremely hardworking team that does not beat themselves.
So you get through the Merritt game, you turn right around, and then the Saturday night game, it's Penticton. I know it's a game that a lot of folks have been looking at, especially given the success of both teams early on in the year. And so now the first time to go head-to-head with them. Let's talk about that matchup.
Well, it's Penticton. I mean, they're on a crazy run, whether it's 8 or 9 years, whatever it is right now. I mean, it's the success they've had on the ice, off the ice, moving players on to college, NHL draft picks. They're on a run that I haven't seen anything like it in my junior career. That as far as not rebuilding, they've been reloading. I think it's great for the league to have. They're kind of looked at as the New York Yankees, that everybody loves to beat them. They definitely they play a skill game, but I don't think anybody would disagree that they're easily one of the hardest working teams in the league. So they don't take any nights off. But on our end, I think it's a challenge, big challenge that no doubt David White has given us the tools, the resources. We're in it to win it, right? I mean, we're in it that we want to win the Fred Page Cup. We want to go after the Royal Bank Cup, and to do that, it's going to have to go through Penticton. I mean, that's just if you want to be looked at as one of the best teams in the league, you got to be able to beat Penticton.
This last week, Colin Burston made his announcement and his commitment to Brown University. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about him, his growth in his time with the Wild, because he's been here for some time now, and just an opportunity to celebrate his accomplishment.
Well, you always feel good when a player makes a commitment, and one of the best things in junior hockey is when usually it's when you're stretching, and just say, hey guys, such and such is committed to this school, and everybody cheers. I mean, it's just a great moment during the year when somebody makes a commitment. And on Colin's part, he came in 2 seasons ago, and his play was a little erratic. But when Saturday night, when he was good, he was really good. I mean, really good. And, but there is a lot of up and downs. And by the end of the year, there is less. And when we got him back last year, right after the holidays, it took him about a month. But once we got to February, he turned into one of our best players. The consistency part of his game, he was much more consistent than the prior year. And right now, he's consistently one of the best players on the ice for either team on any given night. And he doesn't take many shifts off. Again, he works hard. He's got good skill. He's got a hard nose that he's not afraid to muck it up in front of the net. He likes to throw his body around, and we see leadership out of him. So again, on our end as a coaching staff, you feel really good when you see a player mature on and off the ice as Colin has, and it's even a big bonus when you see the type of kid he is, the type of character that he has. That again, it's very gratifying, and you feel good for the kid, you feel good for the family, and I think that's our 10th player right now that has a Division I commitment. And I told you at the start of the year that we expect we're going to have 15 to 17, and you said that would be a high water mark, and we still feel that we're going to have 15 to 17 Division I kids. So we have a lot of really good uncommitted kids that we feel will be committed by the end of the year.
As a coach, when you look up and down the bench, some kids you may see as maybe more coachable guys that just tend to respond a little bit better than others. How does Colin fit in that regard as far as being a coachable young man?
Oh, he's very coachable. he's someone that you can coach hard. You can really get after him at times, and he responds. He likes it when you put pressure on him, whether it's in practice or games. Again, he's definitely one of the more coachable kids that we have.
So this weekend, a lot of the focus has been on Saturday, in part because of the fact it's Penticton. But aside from that, the promotion with Pink at the Rink and the event that took place on Sunday with fans coming out and painting names in the ice, you participated in that firsthand as well. And I talked to a number of people who were out there, and they found it to be actually just the act of doing it was very emotional. It's a very moving thing.
For sure. I mean, Arch, for sure. I mean, we all know people that have cancer. It affects everybody. It's all walks of life, and at least with me, I just think the situation of the people that I know that have to battle it. That it's a nasty disease that you put a person's name down, and yeah, it's definitely very emotional. I watched my daughter. I watched her. She went to St. Joe's Catholic school, and Father Tom passed 2 years ago, and she put down. I know it's not breast cancer, but that was the cancer that she knew, and I could see her eyes well up. So again, I see you see a lot of people there that said the same thing, that it was very emotional where you're writing your loved ones' names on the ice. So again, I think it's a great cause, and it is a great event, great activity that we started the Pink at the Rink week off with.
You know, it's interesting, and I know that you've been exceedingly proud of the fact that you live in Wenatchee, that you're able to work for an organization that you can be so proud of, and to have this little piece, have it transpire the way it has, is just one more reason to feel really good about where we are.
No doubt. I mean, as I've said it many times as a coach, first thing is you're always looking to work for good ownership. And then it's the quality of your life, the city you live in, the people you interact with. And obviously, you're very proud of the community that came out and took part in this activity. Just not surprising. Not surprising. Just so many really good people here in the Wenatchee Valley.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck throughout this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Thanks, Arch.
There you go. That's head coach and GM Bliss Littler visiting with us, and that'll put the finishing touches on this week. Join us Friday night against Merritt at 7:05. Saturday night, Pink at the Rink, as the Wild face the Penticton V's. Thanks for tuning in. This is your Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
You've been listening to Call of the Wild, the official weekly coaches show of the Wenatchee Wild, a presentation of the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.